Hello. Thank you for joining me today as I have tabled in the House of Commons for first reading another private member's bill. The Green Party has been successful so far in this House in the passage of one. Clearly, as we are at the dying days of this session, my intention is to see this bill passed in the next session of Parliament. But it does provide a very clear, straightforward way to ensure that publicly funded government science can never be suppressed again. Ce projet de loi qui s'appelle le projet de loi, c'est le nom dont le titre abrégé, c'est que loi sur l'accès du public à la science. L'idée, c'est simple, c'est pour l'amendement de la loi sur l'accès de l'information pour exiger que le ministre doit publier toutes les recherches scientifiques qui sont financées par les fonds publics. Straightforward way to make sure that all government-funded science becomes publicly accessible is that the minister will be required under an amendment to the Access to Information Law to proactively publish all research undertaken with federal government funds. The premise is clear here. In a democracy, evidence-based decision-making is critical. That evidence often comes from scientific research, untrammeled and uncontrolled by a political ideological agenda. It's a long time since Galileo, see my writing has the Galliano Island. It's a long time since Galileo rotted in jail because he offended the state religion. Well, in these days, I sometimes think our state religion is worship of the economy, and scientists who get in the way, people like Dr. David Schindler, who point out that tailings ponds are leaching toxic substances into the Athabasca River, are our modern-day Galileos. It's time to ensure that scientists are unmuzzled and that the research created with Government of Canada funds is available to all Canadians. In a modern 21st century society, we must thrive on rigorous scientific research. Canada must return to being a country which has public policy based on science and doesn't have science narrowed and gagged in order to suit a political end. I'm very hopeful that this bill will be passed. I pause to comment for a moment on the fact that it's interesting timing with today being the papal encyclical on the subject of what humanity is doing at a global level to the planet. I've just been reading the words of His Holiness Pope Francis, and clearly his intention and the Vatican's intention is to support science. And this is an interesting merger when you consider where I started from in speaking of Galileo. Galileo offended the organized church. We now have, strangely enough, a prime minister in this country less interested in science than the Vatican. It's my hope that with this legislation, we will see healthy public policy debates in Canada based on science, and that we can attract back to Canada those scientists who have left the country. We have had in the policies of shutting down important aspects of science-based decision-making, research in Department of Fisheries and Oceans, research at Parks Canada, research at Environment Canada. Great numbers of brilliant scientists have been fired. They have gone to other countries. And I'm hoping that with the election and then the passage of this bill, among others, we will be able to attract to Canada the best and the brightest scientists who may have given up on the possibility of doing good scientific research within the Government of Canada. It's time to ensure that the world knows and that scientists know that Canada is a country that's moved out of the dark and back into the light. Thank you. Are there any questions? Je pense que non. Merci tout le monde.